In this video, we'll be finding an equation if the roots are given. When we solve the equation x plus 3 times x minus 4 equals 0, so a factored form equaling 0, we get the roots x equal -3 or x equal 4. These are called the roots or solutions. So what we're going to do is work backwards from the roots. So we would be given x equal -3 and x equal 4, and we would get our equation. And the first problem that we'll be working with is to write the quadratic equation with lead coefficient of 1, whose roots are -3/5 and 1/2. So we would start out by saying x equals -3/5 and x equals 1/2. These are our roots. Now we want to move the constant to the left side, so we'll add 3/5 to both sides. These will cancel, and I have x plus 3/5 is equal to 0. In this one, we would subtract 1/2 from both sides, and these will cancel, and I have x minus 1/2 is equal to 0. Now we put those together into one equation, so we have x plus 3/5 multiplied by x minus 1/2 equals 0. Now notice that this sign is just opposite the sign on the root, and the sign here is just opposite the sign on the root here. That'll help you determine if you're in the right direction. All right, now we need to use FOIL to multiply these. X times x is x squared, and then my outer product, x times -1/2 is -1/2 x. My inner product, 3/5 times x is 3/5 x. And then my last product, 3/5 times -1/2 is a -3/10. And again, on the right side, don't forget your equals 0. Now if we combine our like terms, we have the quadratic x squared plus 1/10 x minus 3/10 equals 0. So this is our quadratic equation. The lead coefficient is 1. Do another one. Write the quadratic equation with lead coefficient of 1, whose roots are 1 plus the square root of 2 and 1 minus the square root of 2. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We have our roots, so x equals 1 plus square root of 2, and the other one is x equals 1 minus square root of 2. Then we need to get 0 on the one side, so we'll move these over, x, and then this will be a -1, and a minus radical 2 equals 0. And on this one we have x minus 1 when we move it over, and plus square root of 2, and that equals 0. Now we'll put these two factors into one equation. So we have x minus 1 minus radical 2 multiplied by x minus 1 plus radical 2 equals 0. Okay, we need to distribute to multiply this out. Let's take x multiplied by x, and then x multiplied by -1, and then x multiplied by root 2, Now we're ready for the negative 1. Negative 1 times x. Negative 1 times negative 1. Negative 1 times a positive radical 2. And then finally, let's take this negative radical 2 through the trinomial. So negative radical 2 times x, and negative radical 2 times negative 1, and a negative radical 2 times the positive square root of 2 is a negative 2. And that's all equal to 0. So here's our equation. We just need to combine some terms. Looks like I have a positive square root of 2x and a negative square root of 2x. Those are going to cancel. I have a negative square root of 2 and a positive square root of 2. Those are going to cancel. I have a negative x and a negative x. And then I have a positive 1 and a negative 2. So let's write our equation. We have x squared. Negative x and negative x is negative 2x. And then positive 1 and negative 2 is negative 1. So here's our quadratic with a lead coefficient of 1.